Jamie Bevins here again with part 3 of putting together your sketchbook. Hopefully you've done part 1 and 2 so that you have the insides and outsides of your sketchbooks to put together. You know, sketchbooks have come a long way since the first one was bound in India 2,121 years ago. Wow. Now we're ready to glue it up. This is the fun part. First thing I need to do is make sure that whatever art I've done is completely dry. Because if it's wet, when I go to smoothing it out, it's going to smear. So I've let this dry. I'm now going to flip it over, and I have the drawing that I did previously that shows me where things are going to go, right? I would start on the right side just because you're kind of practicing, and if I get a few wrinkles on this side, it will end up being the back side of my book, so it won't be quite as important if I mess that up. And so I'm going to move this cardboard where I can easily get to it. And actually I'm going to set one piece of cardboard over here because I can use it to set my yucky spreader down on. You need glue and you need some kind of stiff cardboard. Regular corrugated cardboard will work just fine, but this is matte board and it works better. You might want to use an old credit card or key card from a hotel because when we flip it over, we're going to also use this to help smooth things out. So the trick is, I need to make sure I get glue all the way around the edges of this first area here. Okay, and I'm only going to do one piece of cardboard. Put a lot of glue on this. I don't know if you can see that, but there is a lot of glue right there. So there's the glue. What row? And I'm going to take my spreader and I'm going to even out that glue. Now some people use a paintbrush. That works just as well. Get it all even because we don't want any wrinkles. It's always good to have something that you can set this on so that you don't mess up your table. And I'm going to kind of, alright, so I've made sure that I've got glue all in the corners and the edges. That's very important, and that it's all smoothed out. So now, I'm going to take, and I want, usually you want the bad side. If this is real stiff paper, it's not going to show through, right? So I want this bad side that has this information to go down. If you've got thin paper that looks like it might be see-through, then you might want to regroup and put it facing up. We can always cover it up. Turn it over. Take a clean spreader, start from the center, and really bear down. Now some people use a brayer. If you have a brayer, that'd be great, but I don't like to use a brayer because it ruins the brayer. It gets glue all over a really nice utensil that's sometimes kind of hard to clean off. Alright, and I'm making sure that I really get it down on the corners here. That's important. It may wrinkle a little bit. If you get a wrinkle that you're not happy with, just kind of keep playing with it. You can also kind of take this and lift it up and then put it back down again. But you got to be careful if you're going to do that. Okay, I'm also going to take my hand now, really rub on it and make sure that it's good and smooth. Voila. Flip back over. Now this time when I put the glue down, I want to put glue where both of these will go. So I'm going to put my glue there, but also in this center part. Again, I'm placing bad side down. And when I place it, you know, I've drawn, I want to also kind of eyeball and make sure that these two edges are kind of flush with each other. And same thing right here, because that's going to make a difference. Now I'm going to take the spine and put that in the center so that I have just a little bit of gap on either side. And I'm going to really push down on that spine because sometimes it wants to move on me. Flip. Take you a clean spreader from the center out. And again, we're going to smooth this. Use my hands. And then the last thing I do is the spine. All right. Now, before I wrap this around, I want to train the paper. So I'm going to take this edge here and really crease it all the way. Do the same thing here on the top. I will do the top and the bottom first. So, take my glue, and I want to glue in this little section here as well. For whatever reason, whenever I would teach this, my students would forget to do that. I don't know why, but it's okay. I'm just going to draw little circles here. All this glue. So, take my spreader, and I kind of take my hand and I'm supporting, like so, and I'm going to come through and push to the very edge. It's very important that it's right there on that edge. I don't want to get glue all over my table top, so I'm just supporting it like so. And I have managed not to get any on my fingers yet because I'm doing it off center a little bit there. Like my hand is here, my spreader's here, right? And that right there along that edge. Yeah, there she goes. Alrighty. Now to make this really, really strong, you take a bead of glue right at the bottom of that cardboard. It's not necessary, but it does help with the strength of your cover. So now I'm going to take and push that into place, like so. And then this part right here is really, really important. Take your clean spreader, and I start from the center, and you really want to bear down on this seam. So I'm just really pushing down because I want that to be nice and flat when I attach my signatures. And then I'm going to come over here on this little corner and really push. Do the same thing on this side. Alright, got a little bit of glue out there. Just wiped it up real quick. I don't have it on my table. Yay! Alright, so you're going to do the same thing with this part right here. I just flip it, put the glue all right here. So in a minute, I'll share with you how to do the sides. So now we are ready for the next step. The first thing I need to do is I need to cut the corners. It's not that difficult, but I do want to share with you, if I cut right at that corner, it's going to show and the craftsmanship's not going to be very good. So you want to feel where that corner is, where the cardboard is inside that encasing there, and move down just a little bit, about 1/8 of an inch, and then we're going to cut at a 45-degree angle, like so. If you want to measure it, you can. You can use a protractor and measure that. Once I have that cut, I can use this as my guide for the other corners if I want. Okay? Just make sure you put it right. So I'm going to set it right here just so I have kind of a guide. Make sure that I'm away from that corner bit, and I will cut. If you don't need it for a guide, you don't have to use it. So, cutting the other corners as well. You always want to cut, see, I almost did it different. You always want to cut away from that corner that you feel so that you don't accidentally cut into it. All right. Now we're going to do the same exact thing that we did with the top and the bottom. Train your paper first. Really push it down. Do the same thing on this side. And then I just repeat how I glued these two. I'm going to go through and put the glue and push down. I'm also going to check and make sure as I've been playing with these, sometimes that kind of comes up. I'm going to just make sure that that's good and down. It will make a difference later. So we've let our cardboard and cover dry completely. So now it's time to glue in our signature. So the first thing that I want to do is take glue and place it right here on the binding. And well, actually the first thing I want to do is make sure I have it the right direction. So I've got the top of the cover, up at the top here. And if I've pre-drawn any pages, I make sure that they are the right direction as well. Because it would kind of be frustrating, I think, to get this glue to go down. To glue it in upside down, that would be not cool. So now I'm going to put a bead of glue right here, right down the center, okay, where all that thread is. And then I'm going to take and make sure the threads kind of lay down into that glue as well, because I don't want them to show. So if I do that ahead of time, they'll be hidden. Perfect. Now I'm going to take a bead of glue and place it right down the center of this spine. Just like so. Make sure I don't have any glue on my hands when I'm handling this. I'm going to position it right in the center and make sure I have the same amount of space on the bottom that I have on the top. So I need to slide it just a little bit. Slide, there we go. And that looks good. I'm going to lift both flaps up like so. And then I'm going to place it somewhere where it can sit like this overnight. I just happen to have two bookmarks here. I'll place it between my two bookmarks. Let it stay. Welcome back. So we're ready to finish our book. The first thing I'm going to do is open it up and make sure that the pages haven't accidentally stuck to the binding here. Okay, that happens sometimes when you set your signatures in. You want to make sure nothing's stuck. If it is, very gently kind of wiggle it loose so that you can glue it down properly. The next thing is you're going to need 2 sheets of paper that you don't mind throwing away. I'm going to slip this sheet of paper between the last page of my signature and the rest of the signature. When I put my glue here, I don't want to put any glue in this area right here, about 1/2 inch, about a finger width. I don't want any glue right here where the sewing is, and then the rest of this white page. Take my glue, and I'm going to start me a line away from that area that I don't want any glue, and then I'll apply the rest of my glue. I'll just put some generous amount here, like so. Now the trick on this one is that you want to make sure the glue gets to this very edge. We do that with our spreaders. I'm going to spread it and out onto this yuck paper that I'm going to throw away. Notice I'm starting from that inside out, like so, and just be nice and smooth, like so. Awesome. And I'll put my spreader over here on that little piece of cardboard. Now, very gently, I'm going to let it just kind of fall into place. I don't want to pull on it. I need this to have some wiggle room. So I don't want to pull on it at all. I'm going to set it down. I'm going to start from this edge here, and then I'm going to force a fold. I'm just using my hands right here. I'm going to force a fold, and voila, like so. And I probably could have pulled that just a little bit more, but it gives you the right idea, right? I'm going to take this immediately and throw it away. Now I'm ready to do the second part. I'll do the same exact thing. And when I'm done, I'm going to have a sketchbook full of pages and paper that I'll be proud of. Alright, so here's what you need to know about your glued up book when you're drawing. You never, ever, ever want to draw on this first page unless it's something you don't mind losing, because if this ever breaks right here, you always have an extra to fold over and glue down so that you can keep your book intact. You'll do the same with the back page as well. You don't want to ever draw like here. Keep that free so that you can always glue it down if it ever breaks on you. I hope you enjoy drawing and using the sketchbook.